morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, November 10th, 2015. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. CBS News is reporting that the focus of the investigation into the Russian plane crash over the Sinai Peninsula is now on airport staff and others who may have had access to the plane. Egyptian security is apparently questioning even hotel workers in the Red Sea resort town of Sharm el-Sheikh, paying particular attention to those involved in catering. Even in the capital city of Cairo, international teams were inspecting baggage and cargo handling and passenger screening operations at the main airport. The head of Cairo's airport said caterers and security personnel were being asked questions by the teams, which came from Europe, Russia, and Arab nations. The Metrojet airliner, of course, crashed over the weekend, killing all 224 people on board. No one has been able to say definitively that the crash was an act of terrorism rather than a mechanical failure, but the search for clues has taken on the appearance of a crime investigation. There is enough evidence to have convinced American and British officials to go with the bomb theory, and they publicly said that. As a result, flights, including from Russia, have been suspended to Egypt, and this has provided a hammer blow to Egypt's tourist industry, which has caused reaction in the popular media. German flight attendants at the national carrier Lufthansa have announced that they are going to strike all Lufthansa flights beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, November the 11th. This will have a very negative effect and will undoubtedly lead to flight cancellations throughout the Lufthansa system. In 2 nights of violence at the camps, the refugee camps near the French entrance to the Channel Tunnel near Calais, 27 police have now been injured as a result of violence. The 6,000 resident shanty town east of Calais was pelted with rocks. Police officers monitoring the shanty town were pelted with rocks and bottles after midnight Monday and again on Tuesday as migrants repeatedly tried to block a neighboring highway that leads to the main ferry terminal. Police fired tear gas canisters at rock-throwing crowds on the highway. Tensions have been mounting since France started imposing new security measures, including the building of a 15-foot-high razor-topped fence around the camp to prohibit people from trying to get onto the train to get to Britain. The train doesn't stop there. They ride on the roof, they ride under the train, they ride between the cars, they try to walk through the tunnel, they get hit by the trains. It's a horrible situation. In Australia, there was also an uprising of refugees too at Christmas Island, which is a refugee camp holding people petitioning the Australian government for asylum. Australian police have retaken control of the offshore detention camp after clashing with prisoners protesting the death of a Kurdish refugee who attempted to escape. The country's Department of Immigration said this morning that security forces had taken full and effective control of the camp as a result of negotiation and cooperation with detainees. They did say that some force was used with a core group of detainees who had built barricades and resisted attempts to secure a compound. A 6.2 earthquake shook the Aleutian Islands yesterday morning. The quake struck at about 7 a.m. Alaska time, was centered about 58 miles southeast of Atka. There were no reports of any tsunami warnings. Several weeks ago, the Chinese government abandoned its famous one-child policy, and now we know the reason, although everybody had known this for quite some time, studying the Chinese demographics. Chinese authorities expect that easing the one-child policy will add more than 30 million people to the country's labor force by 2050. The spokesman said that more than 90 million women will become eligible for having a second child when China finally formally moves away from the one-child policy to allow couples to have 2 children. The new policy is expected to add 3 million extra births a year in initial years. China has had about 16.8 million births last year. They expect that the change will boost it up to 20 million. This will improve China's age makeup in the labor force and lower the percentage of the elderly in the population by 2% and slow the society's aging process. We don't fool around with nature sometimes. That's the incongruity here. The most populous country on earth is currently facing a labor shortage. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.